Do tenants really do the heavy lifting for you?
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
We're excited to be with you on another episode of the Life's Inside Track because we've created for you over 423 of them so that you have insider tips, harmony insights, as well as like how do you make the best out of an investment property and how do you make the best out of life? And you can get access to them at home, office, or even on the go.
Yeah. So if you have an investment property, your tenant is doing some of the heavy lifting.
A whole lot of the heavy lifting. So what you're going to learn on this episode is how does the tenant lift for you? You don't have to do your weights. They're doing the weights for you.
Yes, but you should do your own weights because if you want to be physically fit, someone else doing the crunches and the triceps is not going to get rid of your wings under your arms.
Right. So what you're going to learn is, you don't have to pay off your own mortgage. Somebody else is paying off your mortgage.
That's cool.
I like that a lot. We've had a lot of people pay off our mortgages. And there's, sometimes I've heard people say, Yetta, it's not really nice that somebody else is doing that for you because those poor people, because they're paying off your mortgage, aren't paying off their own mortgage. Mm-hmm. And yet there are many reasons that somebody wants to be a tenant. And isn't it great that there's somewhere for them to live that is comfortable and well cared for, that has an amazing landlord? Mm. So
yeah, because we really care for our properties. Mm-hmm. And if there's any issues, we get it fixed. If there's we have the furnace serviced every year because we could never live with ourselves if there was carbon monoxide leak or something crazy, mm-hmm. So we look after our properties. And what happens with a mortgage, there's a thing called amortization.
And I bet you already know about amortization if you own a house. And yet if you haven't invested in real estate yet, you may not fully understand. Sometimes people get confused between term and amortization, and then you factor in the interest rate.
But do they understand that mort comes from mortician? So an amortization is the death of your mortgage. Mm-hmm. And we love killing off mortgages.
Death of mortgages is the best thing ever. And when somebody else kills off your mortgage for you, it's even better.
So let's do simple math because I like simple math. And yes, mortgages don't work this way. You pay off less principal at the beginning. You pay a lot of principal at the end because there's little less interest. But let's just say...
Because there's less principal that you owe.
Yes. Less principal, but your payment's still the same. So you're paying more principal off, less interest payment.
And the longer you've had the mortgage.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. But let's just do simple math and say 25-year mortgage means 100% of the mortgage is gone in 25 years. So that means it has to get rid of 4% per year if we just average it out.
Yeah. And you know what? If you're thinking, why are you doing simple? Well, because you may be watching this or on radio, listening on radio, or you may be watching this on the video, and we don't have graphs or charts or anything. So if you actually want to look at your specific situation, how can this work for me? What are the real numbers? It's a very simple, quick conversation. We'd love to have that with you if it feels good to you.
But if you kept it 25 years, the truth is
in 25
you made 4%
years,
per year.
Yep.
And that is money that you didn't pay, your tenant paid towards your mortgage. So on top of the other things that increase value, like equity growth due to the market increasing, you have your mortgage pay down, which is building more equity in the property. And that is roughly 4% added to the other things.
Which is fantastic. And right now, if we look at the interest rates, let's look at the low interest rates. If you have, can we work with a $2,000 mortgage?
No.
Oh,
let's work with $1,800 because those are the numbers that I calculated.
Okay. I just like the round number of 2,000 better. But if you have approximately an $1,800 a month mortgage, and let's say your rent is a little bit more than that, the rent you're collecting in is maybe $2,200, because we'll talk a little bit about, we're going to talk about cash flow in another episode.
No, not right now.
Okay, so not right now, but cash flow is another conversation. And yet in the Ottawa market, that's not always that prevalent, depending on how much money you've invested in the first place. So let's say an $1,800 mortgage, and somebody else is paying all of it because you're going to get maybe $2,500 for that property, covers your taxes, covers your insurance, and gives you a little bit of surplus for cash flow, which is the bonus of how you also get somebody else to do your heavy lifting. So of that $1,800, approximately 1,000 of it is going, depending on where you are in the term of the mortgage, will go toward principal pay down.
Yeah, actually, because interest rates are so low right now, it used to be you'd have little principal and a lot of interest.
Right.
But now, even on the first year, it's over $1,000 of the 1,800 is principal pay down.
Which
so that's
is incredible.
Like, yeah, that's like money. It's like you're cutting a check to yourself, putting it in your bank account. Now, in this case, it's the bank account of your house, $1,000 every month. Now, how cool would that be to put $1,000 away into, say, your RSP?
And it didn't cost you anything. Somebody else actually gave you the check for the $1,000. So that is why it is like mind blowing. And I understand, and this is what I get every time for a new investor, pretty much every time they go, yeah, but I got to maintain it. I got to property manage it. What if the tenant goes south? What if they trash my house? There are so many things that you can do. And we have a checklist for you if you want access to that, or you can come on the journey with us and we'll teach you firsthand how to reduce those risks, how to pretty much eliminate them so that it doesn't bite you, any of those things that could hurt you. And a property manager is a great solution for not having to even have the nitty gritties of taking care of it ongoingly, or have a newer property and then that's gone too. So there are so many things we can do to simplify and eliminate pretty much the risk associated with somebody else paying off your house for you.
Yeah, mitigating the risk. And what's really cool right now, Yetta, is many of our clients are coming to us and they're saying, okay, the market's gone up a lot in the last year or two, and I've paid down my mortgage. So maybe I bought a house 5 years ago and I've got a couple $100,000 in equity now sitting in that house. Well, what a great time to borrow some of that equity, buy a rental property so you're not using any of your cash out of your bank account, if you have any in your bank account, but you can take the cash out of your house and put it into a rental. Now you got two properties that are increasing in value.
Well, that are doing the heavy lifting for you.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And so we know that this can sound really confusing. Like, do you find this a little bit confusing? Unless you've done it. I talked to one of our clients the other day. They've got 17 doors. They don't find this conversation confusing. They find this conversation easy and flows. But if you're thinking this is kind of confusing, we're going to encourage you to pick up the phone and call us at the office, 613-860-4663. I haven't said that number in a long time. 613-860-4663. Or you can always email us at info@deckerteam.com and just say, I need some investing insight. Or you might even want to have access to Ken's book, The Wealth Formula. It's a great primer to read before we even have the conversation. And then let's have a conversation. We are incredibly grateful that we get to grow alongside you. We get to journey with you as you invest in property and as you make amazing life decisions.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together.